Roll call, please.
Here.
Here.
Trustee Walker.
Here.
Trustee Vega.
Here.
Trustee Palani. Here. Vice President Squadron. Here. President.
Here. Okay, are there any changes to the agenda? I did a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, minutes, we'll take both of them for 8A, 8B, board meeting minutes for April 18th and the board meeting minutes for April 22nd, 2023. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 9, reporting out of closed session. The board took action in closed session to reject the government claim of Edward Jack Evans Villanueva and the government claim of Angela Romero on a 4-0 vote. All right. Recognitions and commendations 10A, 22 to 2023 CTE Students of the Year. So I looks like we've got some celebrations going on here. So Ms. Reed, would you like to take over?
Yeah. Thank you. So I'm gonna read about each student first, and then at the end I'll ask them to come up and receive their certificate. On behalf of the Jefferson Union High School District CTE program, I'd like to acknowledge the following four students that have demonstrated the personal and academic qualities and skills that they developed in their CTE pathways. These students are well-rounded, effective leaders, and an active member of their community. They have demonstrated their CTE knowledge, skills, and attributes that illustrate their college and career readiness throughout their time in the CTE pathway. I'd first like to recognize Casey Liu from Oceana High School. He has completed the culinary arts pathway with Miss Hughes, and she describes Casey as a delight to have in class throughout the entire year. He consistently helped with staff luncheons, often staying after school to clean up, even when it was not his turn. He is super engaged in class, often cooking additional sides to complement the meal. He loves cooking and shares his joy with others. Most importantly, he is generous of spirit in his culinary delights. Next, I would like to recognize Tyler Hanna from Terra Nova High School. Tyler has completed both the drama and stage tech pathway at Terra Nova High School. Mr. Schneider stated that Tyler has been a key part of the Terra Nova Theater since his freshman year. He is an exceptional performer, but truly excelled behind the scenes, mastering the fly system and then organizing all performers and crew for all of the complex challenges we faced over the last 4 years. Tyler leads by example. He never worries about grades or credits. He simply works long hours to put on the most professional show he possibly can. In a word, he is simply inspiring. I'd also like to recognize Janelle Kahlo from Westmore High School. Janelle has completed the fashion design pathway at Westmore. According to Ms. Cabarly, Janelle's skills have not only improved immensely over the 2 years, she is a leader among her classmates. Janelle led the costume making production for the Westmore High School play Legally Blonde. She is always helping other students problem solve while constructing their designs. Janelle is an amazing student who will go far in life due to her kindness towards others and her strong work ethic. And lastly, Susanna Zavala Murillo. Susanna has completed both the engineering and digital arts pathway at Jefferson High School. Ms. Lewis describes Susanna as a creative individual with a strong work ethic and mature personality. She has shown success in her ability to manage time and productivity to create unique digital media, including graphics, artwork, designs, and videos. Mr. Bruxford states that Susanna is a great problem solver. She has determination to solve problems by exploring a range of techniques. She has an awesome balance of analytical and visual artistic skills. The work she created is cleanly designed and well supported. So at this time, I'd like each student to come up. I have a certificate to recognize them. I'll call them by name. Tyler Hanna from Terra Nova High School.
Casey Lou from Oceana High School. And Janelle Collar from Westmore High School. And I will make sure that Susanna gets her certificate. She was on it. And let's give them all a round of
We will take another photo with the board shortly after the board makes some comments to the honorees this evening. So we'll start with the student trustees if you'd like to make a few comments.
Yeah, I just want to say congrats to everyone. I can tell that just through what I've seen at turnover that everyone involved in CTs puts in a lot of work, and that you might feel like your work is not always seen, but like, people know that you are really dedicated to what you're doing.
The one person from Jeff isn't here, but that's okay. Shout out to all y'all who aren't from Jeff that have obviously been putting in that work. So yeah, congrats.
Tyler Hanna, who I've worked with directly for a year or so now on Terra Nova, I can very much vouch for his functionality both as a performer and also behind the scenes working tech. A lot of the stuff that we've done, especially recently, would not have been made possible without him and seniors like him. I'm worried for the new incoming drama and CD classes, but we're going to be losing a great person when you head on out. And though I don't know the rest of you as directly, if you're sitting alongside him, I'm certain that you guys as well are fully capable and competent CPE students. Not to view your, achievements in the vein of another student's, but just to say that you guys are most definitely competent.
Yes.
You guys still sounds like a backhanded compliment. I'll stop all on that.
It's okay.
Thank you guys all for showing up.
Congratulations on your achievements. I'm impressed by your work. I encourage all students to take a hard look at CTE opportunities, and I want to compliment everyone who's been a part of it for the participation. I know it will benefit you as you move on. Thank you very much, and I want to say thank you very much, and I wish you well, even if you're coming back to do it again.
Congratulations, you guys. It's always nice to be recognized for hard work, but it's also a testament to your guys' character, especially at a young age like this, to see that you're producing at this level, being recognized at this level. It's really cool. I think it'll inspire other kids like you guys, young people like you guys, to hopefully follow in your footsteps and continue on. So congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations to all of you, and to your teachers and the staff who's supported you for so long, and your families especially. We're really proud of our CTE programs, and I'm so glad that we're here to honor you, that you're being honored for all of your hard work in your fields. Legally Blonde, those costumes were amazing, and I'm just blown away by, it was just so nice to finally go to an in-person production, high school production again, and to see the level of professionalism. Tyler, I was not able to go out there, but for 4 years, you worked behind the scenes. That's amazing. And I think you're going to go far. I think you all are. And, culinary. I love cooking shows, and I expect to see you on one. So congratulations, Helen. You make us very, very proud. Thank you.
So first, I just want to thank the teachers who are teaching all of you. And I know some of them are here tonight, so thank you so much for all your hard work. And I know for some of the teachers, like, this is not what they started in our district to do. And over tremendous hurdles and a lot of work are making that effort to support our students. So thank you all so much. And then to the students, I was very fortunate when I went to high school that I was part of a CTE program, that I did video and video production. We had a video yearbook. And that's not what I went into as my job, but in that program, I learned so many things that I use today at work. How to meet deadlines, how to work for a team, how to, just project manage and meet a goal. And then seeing that the work that you're doing, how it affects and supports the other students around you, because you all have done work to help support the school district already. So I say that to just know, I hope that you understand your worth and your value, especially when you go out into the job force, how much you have to offer, because look at all the things that you've already done here in high school. So congratulations to all of you. I'm excited to see what you do in your future career.
Yeah, yes, indeed. I echo the sentiments of my board colleagues and just the work that you've done, and especially to be able to complete this course of study over 2 years shows a dedication to that particular course of study in the CTE program. And that's really, and the fact that we're able to recognize you completing your capstone year is fantastic. So it shows, one, thank you, Ms. Shreve, and to all of the staff for the dedication to making the CTE pathways a reality, and for us to be able to then celebrate the achievements of these students tonight. So congratulations to you all.
That's okay. Thank you. I really am not going to say it better than what you've already heard, and I'm glad that President Lee mentioned Ms. Shreve. I kind of personally want to publicly thank you, because really this started off as just 4 classes a few years ago, and now our district has an extremely strong CTE program. So thank you. Thank you to all the staff that is here supporting the students and the families. And I just want to say that I had the opportunity to go to most of the capstones. I think I missed Westmore. But I am blown away by what you guys do, what you learn, what you're capable of doing. There are things that I think, well, I would never be able to do that. And you've taken on these challenges, and it's inspiring, and I'm super impressed. I was able to go to the Terra Nova show. I was blown away at how great it was. The Westmore show, I have popped into Miss Lori, I can't think of Lori's last name. Yeah, Miss Hughes' class, and gotten to taste some of the yummy stuff that you guys make. And so I've had the opportunity to be in many of the classrooms, not all. But you should be very proud of yourselves. So thanks. Congratulations.
And Susanna, since she just left it. They all heard. We have another one with just you guys and work with Susanna, and then we'll take ours. So if I can have her tell.
When I have the board, it's gonna come together. My way, ready? 1, 2, and 3. You don't have to sit down, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Guys, have anything else on okay, who do we have?
All right, guys.
I don't know. Were you part of the team that worked on the student recognition?
So,
Okay.
yeah, I guess I got it. That's what I was thinking.
Did you, Lana, were you part of the student recognition? So, what you guys can do, just so you guys have more familiarity than I do, you guys can either like split it up, 1, 2, 1, 2, or you can do it 1, 1,
That's how we do.
or you can just have one of your folks with it.
All right, well, let's all bring it back now to item 11A, board report out, and we'll begin with the student trustees on the board report.
On the note of CTEs, we had a really wonderful field trip to the San Francisco Chronicle, which I'm part of our journalism program, and I feel like all the students were on the same page. That was a really wonderful experience to have. Other than that, all schools are doing AP testing right now, and that's gone very smoothly. And then we had our last rally at Terra Nova, which was really exciting, especially for those of us who are graduating. Like last time, singing the fight song all together was really fun. So that's about it at Terra Nova.
I have a question for you. You said all the journalism students were on the same page. Was it the front page?
Yeah, I
We went there.
Nailed it.
Good dad humor.
Excellent. So on a different note, at Jeff, we just had our last rally as well, just last Friday. In my opinion, it was one of my favorites. Not to say that, any of the other ones are bad or anything. But yeah, we just had that, and prom is coming up for us. And yeah, we just finished state testing last week too, I think. But yeah, that's all I can think of.
I don't have much more to say as long as already spoken on behalf of Terra Nova, which I also attended. So, should we begin the presentations on what our committees have done, or are we handling other things first?
You have that later on.
Understood. Sorry.
I have nothing new to report.
I don't have anything to report, but I sit on the student advisory board with the student trustees, and just being able to sit there and get to know you guys a little bit, although it's been brief. I do want to give you guys a shout out. You guys are pretty cool to be around. It's really neat to see you guys, all the hard work you guys put into what you're doing and how serious you take this. It gives me hope for kids in the future for sure. It's actually really neat that this exists here in the school district, and I hope it continues, because I just think the experience in general for myself as an adult, as a parent, to see kids like yourself, young people like yourself, take that job so seriously, and all the hard work you put into it's really cool. So I wanted to give you guys a shout out.
Thank you very much, sir. It's a delight working with you guys as well.
I echo that. I was with the Student Advisory Council last night. They're always they're always inspiring students who join the council, but I think this group, especially finally coming back in person, really embraced it and was extremely collaborative. And I'm looking forward to the presentation they give later on this evening. I was able to go to the Immigrant Resource Fair here at the district office. And it was a great example of the collaboration between Jefferson Union and Jefferson Elementary School Districts. Stephanie Martinez at Jefferson Elementary, and then Melissa Ambrose and all of our wellness teams here, where I want to thank them for that. We also had Fletcher also was served as one of the translators at the fair. We had so many students who helped with the fair and with the translation services, and it was so well attended, and just the number of agencies. I did not know so many different agencies existed, And I wish we knew more about them. Everybody should know about them. And it's a shame. But I'll see what, we can do to get that word out. And I also was able to go to the evening about the trades. It was really, really, extremely well attended. Shout out to Ann Crew and again, Ms. Shreve for putting this together, and Mr. Bashir's for, I think they bust in like 50 students, and for both of these events, our district office staff who helped with the catering and helped with getting more chairs for everyone to be seated as they continue to funnel into the Galleria. It was just really nice to see the teamwork. And it's not surprising, of course. And I did go to the District 5 Community Fair where we had a table, and it was so big, and I didn't get to go around, but it was, it was good to get people to support our project and seeing people who I actually knew. A lot of people who came up and we learned about our upcoming projects and support them. And that's about the most I've done for a while. So it was good. It's good to represent our school.
I do want to give a huge thanks to Deputy Van Rathhorst and Deputy Baca for all the work that they did they put into the meeting that we had about our LCAP and our budget. So that's my favorite meeting of the year. I just love to really deep dive into who we are as a district, right? And that's just completely who we are. And to see all of the work that we've been doing. And really one of the things that I did was, I pulled our old LCAP from, 5 years ago. And it's incredible to see enough. It's incredible. I'm just really proud of who we are as a district. And then I'm just really grateful to have a board where it was a really productive meeting, where we were able to have a civil discussion with each other and talk about who we are as a district and what we need to do to continue along that path of growth. So thank you both for all the work that you put into those documents and all the work that you've done year round, and then continue to do it. And thank you to our superintendent who led us through most of that discussion and provides a really safe space to have that discussion so that we can be the board members that we're elected to be. We're here to kind of be that friction to make sure that everything is tested before it goes out to our children. And so to have that trust with us and to provide that space so that we can really talk about what we see, what our concerns, and also, areas of growth, and have all of those have the same weight is important, and I'm very grateful. And the reason why it really hit me hard is that the three of us went on a trip to DC to do advocacy work. And it was like we immediately got put into a city that I know is divisive, but to be able to experience it firsthand was a whole different kettle. And to be in a room where people said things out loud that I was like, wow, you just said that out loud. But on the flip side, to hear us being held up as a model and have people say that this district is a national model for multiple things, not just our housing. So I am very proud, and we made the work to go advocate easier to. So I'm looking forward to the continued work moving ahead.
Yeah, yes. On that note, with regards to the LCAP and budget documents, I had them with me actually in DC. And so when I was sitting in some sessions where they were training us on some of the topics they wanted us to talk about, I actually pulled out my LCAP documents to sort of double check to see what we were actually doing. So I could at least share, if necessary, with our legislators what we were doing and how we had budgeted for that for next year. So it was actually really helpful. And in fact, one of our fellow school board members was sitting next to me, looked at me and was like, "You're such a nerd. You have your LCAP with you." But but that's what we're supposed to do.
I don't see a problem with it at all.
Exactly. No, it was great. It was exactly what we needed to be doing. But it was actually a very good trip. We did learn a lot about some upcoming legislation that we need to advocate for. I think and despite that, there's a lot of divisiveness in our nation, especially at the nation's capital, at Capitol Hill. The fact that there's bipartisan support to eliminate the Social Security penalty for public educators in California is a really, really big deal. The fact that the bill, I can't remember what's now HR 85 or something like that, is actually from a Republican congressman from Louisiana, and it has 40 of California's congressional delegation in support of both parties.
Yeah.
Is a really big deal. And that there's a companion bill in the Senate from the senator in Ohio with support from both Padilla and Feinstein, which bodes well for the fact that this is likely to pass this year. And that's really good for us with regards to the educator shortage and the fact that we do have a hard time here in this state getting educators because that penalty is one significant issue. So to be able to go into Congressman Kevin Mullin's office and to thank him for his support on that bill was actually really cool, among other things that we were able to share with him. So it was a very productive trip. It was good to be able to hear from various federal leaders, including Xavier Becerra, the Health and Human Services Secretary, and Congressman Kevin Kiley, who spoke very glowingly about the issues that we have related to public education in California and his understanding of it, which was a big deal considering where the areas that he represents. So it was really good to hear from a lot of different viewpoints on public education and for us to be able to come together, at least on both sides of the aisle, when it comes to taking care of our students. So it was good.
Okay, my turn. I won't say a lot more about our trip to DC, but I'll say this. I knew that I would enjoy it. I knew that I would learn a lot. I didn't know how impactful we would be. And I think we were very impactful. And so that made me feel good about it. We learned a lot. We advocated. We met with our Congress people. And I think it was really time well spent. So I'll leave it at that. I won't leave it at that. I will also say, back at you, it was really great to go with board members that I respect so much, and it's great to work with you guys. So I'll add that too. Other than that, I want to just kind of give a shout out to our teachers and our staffs at the high schools. President Lee and I spent a lot of time over the past couple of weeks just visiting classrooms at all of the sites, walking through I had an eye on engagement. Deputy Superintendent Baca and I similarly have been in classrooms with our eyes on student engagement. And I think it's really important for us to get into the school sites, for you guys to see us there, and for us to see all the great things that are happening. So that's been good. The other thing that I want to say is that I was at Daly City Hall this past week. It was the night of the CTE events. I wasn't able to go to both, but it was great to see, and I wrote her name down. Joy Wu was the first runner-up for the DCPLA Youth Poet, the Daly City Youth Poet Laureate. So super proud, and I'm hoping that we have even more students applying. I heard that we didn't have as many apply this year as years past. So want to encourage you guys to share your writing, because I know that you're writing. Other than that, it's been sort of hitting the ground running. We got back late Wednesday night, and it's been a whirlwind of fun and events in our district. And the year's winding down and kind of looking ahead to graduations and culminating events and lots of exciting things going on. Oh, one final thing. I too absolutely love being at student advisory with you guys on Monday nights. it is honestly kind of one of the highlights of my job. It's really, really great. I'm just so impressed with you guys and happy that we've had such a great year, and I'm looking forward to your presentation.
And then AFT 1481 report, Ms. Casey.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I too was at a Capitol, but I was at the California Capitol in Sacramento. Alan Vu and Trish Garcia-Leckel and I went up to Sacramento to talk to our legislatures about AB 938, which is a bill that would raise LCFF funding for K-12 salaries by 50% over the next 7 years. One of the things that I kept on saying while I was there is our teaching and working conditions are our students' learning conditions. So if we improve our situations, we're improving our students' learning conditions. The only issue is that it's hard for me because we're not LCFF anymore. So we're always on this, kind of in this place that it seems like we always get the short end of the stick. I think if they raise the salaries, then all the buckets that we talk about will be lifted, but it's not exactly what I would want. So there's more legislation out there that I think is important for us to push for, such as making it more equitable between the North San Mateo County and the Middle and Lower San Mateo County, because it's very different. So that's just my little plug on that. There's a lot going on with the union right now. We have some contract changes for evaluations that we're going to be voting on in the next few days. Some possible calendar changes, an increase in pass-throughs, which is just a couple of dollars. I'm not going to get into the weeds of that. And then I'm very proud to say that we have a lot of people that have stepped up to be site reps. We only have a few areas where we're missing site reps, and usually we have at least one. So, everyone that's a union member is in the union and is the union. There's, of course, people that have to step up and be leaders, and I'm very proud of the new folks that have stepped up, and I'm proud of the people that continue to serve all of the union members by being leaders. We do have a union party on Friday, and we're doing that with the elementary school district. So that's fun, and it's something that we haven't done for a little while because of COVID. So I'm glad that's over in this way. So I think that's about it. And I'm mad that you didn't say that you were thrilled to be working with me.
I am very, very, very thrilled to be working with Miss Monica Casey.
And I just want to
and everybody else here.
I just want to apologize because I do have a class. I'm going to be doing drumming. Very simple drumming for Carnival, and they're like starting to really ramp up the practice, and I need it because even though I'm just going like this, I need to be at practice. So I'm going to be leaving early tonight. So I apologize.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Casey. All right, is there a COVID-19 response update this evening? Okay, great. All right, item 12, consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve consent? All those in favor? Aye. Okay, and are there any public comment this evening?
No.
Okay, fantastic. Moving on then to item 14A1. Now we can do the 2022-2023 Student Advisory Council update.
My introduction, really, they need no introduction. I'm going to turn it over to, I think all three of you are presenting, right? Okay. Take it away.
me start. You can start. I can start. All right, cool. What's up? I'm Dante Untouch. I'm part of Student Advisory Council along with Alana and Fletcher here. So yeah, there's two things.
Is it not working? Oh, you need a different one.
Oh, you should use the left and right here. All right.
No problem.
On this one or this one? Either one?
I think the one on the right.
Oh, you're handing to the other people? I didn't even see that. We got this one. We got this one. Go ahead with the original. All right.
We're just trying to trick you, Dante.
Oh, what the
This is the test.
Space, up, down, and the click from the mouse.
Space, up, down.
No.
Oh, I thought it was like a. I thought it was like
It's
a.
not going on because, yeah, this is, it's not.
Do you see why we enjoy being with them? It's not working. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I thought that was like a.
It's not you.
We can just like talk to you guys and make
Yes,
like,
yes.
Can you advance it maybe, Jake, for them? Okay.
The weather switched up on us today.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
we came out this year.
The Warriors are leading 21-18.
Recording in progress.
All right, I'll advance. We'll just let you know when to touch the next.
Yeah.
Okay. We appreciate the effort.
Sick. Yeah. So these are these are the people, the student trustees, in our group, the people that we have been seeing every other Monday.
Mhm.
Very, what's the word? Unique group of individuals. Yeah, lots of different personalities, all positive.
Mhm.
Onward, please.
So to start off, I'm representing the lunch committee, one of the two that we created during this term. Eden, Nadia, and Grace are not able to be here, most likely on the basis of having to study for final AP exams that are currently happening. I'll walk you through what we've done, what we've looked at, and what we were planning to do. Fix the next slide, please. I think I got it. Beautiful.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So our plans, but this is a bit of a simplification, but there were essentially two goals that we worked out over the course of the past few months. On the one hand, we wanted to improve the student experience, make the lines a bit smoother, make food a bit nicer, just see if there's anything we can do to generally make it a more pleasant experience to have lunch at the different cafeterias across the school. And on the other hand, we wanted to improve the quality of lunch itself, such as separating some of the less commonly used meal options into their own things so that they're not clogging up the line, and ensuring that meals served are generally nutritional, healthy, and tasty, preferably. What we plan to do based off of some of the acts of previous committees, we wanted to reduce the queue length or the line length, basically open a couple more lines to sort of ease congestion in one, spread it out as opposed to having only one or two, because some schools had issues with that. The line jumping, to which I refer in the upper left corner there on the second bullet point, is when students either at the front or towards the back or around the middle sneak in and under the barriers, usually holding lines, like those little rope-off things you have at theaters. And this can create, just a general sense of confusion. It slows down the line itself as they get in position. And it's kind of unfair to the folks who've been waiting the whole time. So we considered potentially having more staff set up to make sure that that doesn't happen and that it's deterred before it even starts. And finally, on the topic of reducing line lengths, we wanted to look into potentially the use of student ID card scanning as a method to speed up lines. In order to do that, we wanted to assess whether the registers that students normally type their numbers into even have the capability to scan cards. Because I first noticed that they seem to have a capability to do it, but no one was taking advantage of it. And we wanted to look into that, and if something could be done with that, we'd see if we could, let students know, make sure staff were trained, and address it. On the other hand, we wanted to offer better meals, just generally, as mentioned before, a greater variety of meal options, a number of healthier meal options, and some tastier meal options. Not that the school food tastes bad, but it's always nice having food that tastes good. Sorry if I sound a bit nervous. But on the separate meal options, though, some of the meal options that were just like, just more of a snack as opposed to a full meal. Like I'm going to grab a quick salad, or I'm going to grab an apple or something like that. Those are things that at a couple of different schools, students would often go for, but because they're only getting the one item and, they have to wait all the way in line for that, we were curious whether or not there was some way to basically just have not a fast pass system, but like if you're only getting the one thing, just grab it and go so it doesn't hold up the other line and you get it faster as well. In addition, we also wanted to see if vegetarian meals could be, separated into their own line. That way there's no confusion if things get swapped around, whether food is, compatible with vegetarian diet. We do have students who are vegetarians. In regards to what we actually succeeded in, we did open new lunch lines at a couple of different schools, and this did seem to reduce congestion. I don't know in regards to the progress of line jumping, whether or not we've gotten new staff members to either new staff members or just a different approach to that. I don't know where we stand on that. And the card usage was a bit of a work in progress because technically registers are capable of scanning cards. We're perfectly able to have students whip out their ID cards and scan it and go through like that so they don't have to type in a number. But the problem is, it isn't much faster. And even if in cases where it is faster, not every student, has their ID card on them or in a place that would be easy to get to it. So we made sure that students and staff are aware that this is an option if they wish, but it's not by any means mandated. In regards to better meals, I can only speak for Terra Nova, and I do have to admit I'm a touch biased as a Terra Nova lunch lady myself, but I do believe honestly that the meals are tastier compared to, both when I started working at the school as a lunch lady, which I believe was in freshman year 2019, and also just when I've been working with the board. I would say that there has been a noticeable improvement, not just in the taste of things, but also in the variety of meal options, because we have a number of things that we did not have in prior years. I believe there was like a Dutch crunch sandwich, there were these little cubes of cheese, which I just absolutely adore. There's a lot of new options, which I'm always very pleased to see. In regards to the separating of meal options, there was a bit of separation of meal options, not quite to the full extent that we were thinking we might end up needing to do, but that's just because, some stuff is fine where it is, some stuff didn't particularly need to be adjusted. We didn't separate vegetarian lines into their own thing, and I believe that was just on the basic of logistics. It's a lot easier to keep, everything watched over, served out quickly, and maintained if is all in one place, which we can look into at a later point in time, but for now, this is where we stand. In regards to our recommendations for the future, this is a lot to read, so I'll try to summarize it quickly. One, not as much on the food side, but on the lunchroom experience itself. It would be nice if we could look into, say, having students put up decorations, either student-made artwork that we rotate on a weekly or bi-monthly basis, or just pleasant imagery of scenery that's nice to have around, or informational nutritional facts about the food you're eating, stuff to make the cafeterias feel a bit more lived in, as opposed to just a spot you chow down in. We also wanted to look into, and of course I'm not going to be here for it, and a good number of our student trustees were seniors and graduating, but these slides are also viewed by future committees. And so one of the things we wanted to recommend to them was the creation of student polls. So as opposed to having to, get word through the grapevine and just keep your ears open for it, students would be able to directly talk about what food they liked, what food they didn't, what food they'd like to see or for special occasions, assess student reactions to the line experiences and just the general serving, logging in, all of that kind of stuff. Well, not technically finally, but ultimately, we wanted to introduce some kind of a menu. Some schools already do this, but a lot of school menus either could be improved or made more accessible, either by having some sort of like a website linked to the location we're buying it from, so we can, plan out what meals are coming, so students know what's going. They don't have to wait until they get to the end of the line to find out what they can even eat. Or just something quick that staff members or people working at the cafeteria can draw up before lunch starts to give students a good idea of what's available. Finally, and this is the definite finally because I've been talking for a while, but the food can always be, assessed, made sure it's nutritional, tastes good, and is well varied, and not on a lunch-related note. I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but it's always good to have greater student and, or I suppose I should say, trustee principal communication, because that fosters a more direct line between the two, and it makes it easier for things that are specific to one school. So if only one school does lunch a specific way, talking directly to the principal as opposed to bringing things up at a board meeting might be a faster, more responsive route for it. That's it. I'm done. Sorry. Now, I hand this off to you folks. I'm not sure which slide you want to do, but you are welcome to do so.
Oh, for sure. So, student recognition. How can we improve on it? Well, let's figure it out. Let's see. As it says, students will feel much more appreciated and valued when they feel that their accomplishments are recognized on a district level, as we have seen today already. Partially.
Yeah, so this is one thing that I'm really excited about student recognition is we're bringing Special Olympics back at Terra Nova, which is a tradition Terra Nova has had for many years since we have the nice big field. And if we do it at the end of the year, it's sunny in the back of the valley. So we're having students from all of the districts, and I believe Jefferson Elementary students are coming to Terra Nova for our Special Olympics on May 12th. And we're really excited so that all students, no matter if they're in special ed classrooms or if they're not, that they can feel like they're included in the Terra Nova community. There's obviously many advantages of Special Olympics and building confidence for everyone and just having a fun time all together in the sun. So I'm really excited that we're going to bring this back.
Sure. Awarding students on a district level. Right now, that we know of, we only have like a student of the month type thing. We kind of want to, help students feel more recognized in a way that, isn't just like, oh, you're doing great academically, let's show it. We kind of want to venture out and acknowledge students that do more than just do good in school. With, things listed there, such as sports, artistic abilities, and extracurricular activities, just to name a few. I didn't want to read the whole list.
Yeah, so basically, I think what we did today was really, really beneficial, and we just wanted to highlight that we appreciate that the board is highlighting students, and I know just from students at Terra Nova, like the girls who were in wrestling championships and water polo championships, how they were really excited to come to the board meeting and how they felt very recognized that you guys were highlighting them. So I just kind of wanted to give you guys the feedback that highlighting students at meetings is not a waste of time, and that I've personally heard that it's a big deal to be able to come and feel that you're appreciated, and just kind of people were really excited that we're doing that. And I wanted to make sure that student recognition is always on the top of everyone's mind. Not as exciting as lunch, but just something we wanted to highlight. Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, opening up the board for comments and questions.
Student recognition is very important. And I think that's kind of the basis of what we all are trying to do here is to create a an environment for you guys to excel and be recognized for that, and give you a platform to be heard. So I mean, it's good that you're advocating for it, and definitely we're listening.
Thank you for the presentation and taking the time to do the work. So on lunch, a lot of the points I agree with, and I know that we talked about them, but then with everything that happened in, instability in the job position, then COVID, and now we're back. I think looking into having some student art or something in the lunchroom, I think it's a fantastic idea. And I know I don't know what year it was, but I went to San Francisco to look at some of their lunch programs and the high schools that were doing it successfully and building up engagement. All of them, that was one of the things they all did the same, was having students involved in some sort of programming in the lunchroom. And then the other thing that they had that was extremely successful at all of the schools that said that they just saw a tremendous increase in positive feedback from students was a grab and go. And that I know that's a staffing issue and that's hard, but having either grab and go in the room or have, like, one school had a staff member that just had the grab and go stuff and went to all the places where they knew students hung out. But they just said that was extremely successful. It relieved the pressure off of the lunchroom and also helped the students who, the demands that we put on teens are insane. You have to be in 50 million clubs. And that sometimes students just forego lunch because they have to go to their club meeting and then trying to prep for whatever they're doing in the next period. They sometimes just don't go. So just meeting them where they're at. So again, seeing those ideas turned up again. Thank you for doing that. And if they get this, is going to be emailed to us too.
Yeah, it's attached to the agenda now.
Oh, is it? Okay. You know what? But I always read the one.
No, it wasn't. They weren't quite done. So
Okay,
it is now.
Yeah, no worries.
I believe it's also, I don't know, you'd be part of it. The Student Advisory Council Google Space on Gmail, you can find it linked in the chat there. That's where we put it for.
I stay off of that chat because of the Brown Act thing, but but
it's on the board agenda.
It's on the board agenda now. Okay, cool. And for the student recognition, I completely agree. So I know we have been trying to work and do more of that, but we need to be think broader, because there's lots of ways that students impact the community of JUHSD outside of just academics. Right? Thank you for your work. That's much appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I do want to say a couple of things. I want to thank Danielle Sweeters, the Director of Food Services, and Ms. Van Ramphorst, because they actually took a lot of what the kids said and put it into action. So much of what was talked about was directly related to the kids. That Jefferson has these, because there was a lot of line jumping, for example, at Jefferson. And so they put in, you guys have like those rails now. So so I hear the line jumping has stopped. And so, the cards we looked at, is swiping actually faster than just putting your number in? And so I want to thank the adults for listening. I want to thank the students for sharing their ideas and the adults for listening. And we know, we know there's always room for improvement. And the amount of improvement that I've seen just this year on the quality and the services that we're providing, really in all of the kitchens, I think has been exponential compared to other years. So it's never perfect. There's always something, but it's really good. And I just also want to thank you, Alana, for sort of noticing that we have been putting more efforts towards making sure that we have student involvement and student recognition. It is something that we've talked about. We're here because of you. You're the reason why we do this. So, and I like just the different ideas as well. And we will definitely put that into action.
So it's been great watching you work on your projects. First deciding, student advisory council, first deciding what was important to you. And then seeing you break into groups and work on them. Thank you so much for the presentation. Food, it's always an issue every year, and we've gone through so much in the time that we've been on the board. Boy, it's just, so your concerns are not new, but it says a lot because of the same issues every year. But I want to thank you for giving some good recommendation, and then also with student recognition. Like everyone said, this is something that's been really important to us as well. And I really appreciate your feedback on all of this. It's very valuable, and we value student voice. That's a big part for us, and I appreciate all your hard work on this.
Thank you all for the great presentation. Good work. And, I think I'm glad to, echo my fellow colleagues' comments. And I know, at least with the student recognition, I think that's going to be one of those things that we're going to have to make a real effort to learn and find out. So, I think it'll be a team effort from the adults on this side, but also want to make sure that we hear from the students that you let us know when there's something that's occurring that we might have missed. So thank you all. Great job.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Next item, Summit Shasta annual update to the Board of Education. Ms. Mletsky.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, my name is Ren Maletsky. I'm the executive director at Summit Shasta. This is my 7th year as a school leader at Shasta. So it's nice to see so many familiar faces and some new faces too. I'm usually here in the fall, but I'm actually feel lucky that I'm here today. This is such a joyful meeting. So this is good energy we have going into the May meeting. I was out on maternity leave in the fall, so I'm back now. It's great to be here. Is this working? Yeah. Did you do it? Did I do it? I don't even know. Up arrow. Okay, it's working. Great. I'm sure I was doing the combo he described, like 14 different keys. So at Shasta, our vision has stayed the same for the entirety of our existence since 2013. So it's every student is equipped to live a fulfilled life, one with purpose, financial independence, community, strong relationships, and health. So that is pretty similar to what you've seen me present here the last 7 times that I've been here. Our mission is actually a little bit different. So we've evolved it since I was here in the fall of 2021. Our previous mission was very, very much focused on 4-year college acceptance, and that was what students were going to do. And so we met as a leadership team across our charter network to evolve to what you see here. So our new mission is to collectively prepare a diverse community of young people with the skills, knowledge, and habits to attain economic empowerment and success in a chosen concrete next step toward a fulfilled life. I actually think that echoes probably more of what I've been presenting to you all for the last few years, and I think it's more representative of where we are as a society and where our school is pushing, but I did just want to highlight that is different than what I showed the last time. Oops, down arrow now. Yeah, got it. The core characteristics are kind of the foundation of our culture at Summit Shasta. And so these are things that you see in the classrooms that we highlight a lot with students, that we use for student recognition when we're recognizing students in our community. And so that's just kind of a common language that I like to highlight that's core to who we are at Shasta. And then our model has stayed pretty much the same since I was last here. So we kind of have these 4 key elements: mentoring, which every single student gets a mentor the first day of 9th grade. They see that adult every single day of high school throughout their 4 years there. So it's a consistent relationship they have with a trusted adult on campus. We remain a project-based school, so all of our classrooms use projects. There's generally about 5 to 7 projects per class in a year, and students will really dive deep on content of their choice to practice specific critical thinking skills. Self-direction is still a big component of our model. Students have Chromebooks. They're able to access content and move through it at their own pace. and they have those Chromebooks, they bring them home, so they're able to access everything that they need. And then expeditions has always been a part of our model, but there have been some shifts in that in the last year. And so that's one of the things I want to highlight towards the end of this presentation. We've really invested, to be honest, a lot more resources in building out the expeditions program. And so there have been some shifts in that I will talk more about. All right. So in terms of our school in review, there's a picture of the Summit Shasta faculty on one of our rare sunny days in Daly City. Our team is pretty similar to the structures before. We have an executive director, which is me. There are 2 deans of instruction and culture. Both of those individuals were prior Shasta teachers before moving into that role. We have a dean of operations, and then this school year we have a new administrative position called the dean of expeditions. This was part of an organization-wide shift to try to bring some personnel back onto school campuses. So it was like taking someone that sort of had a role at the home office back to our school. And then we do have an office assistant. We have 20 full-time faculty members. You were talking, I think, about the teacher shortage, and we have felt that at Shasta. So we've had 2 long-term subs covering 2 of our classes, one since the beginning of the year, and then one was a mid-year replacement. One thing that is new this year is we have a visual performing arts faculty member that's on our faculty, not on an expeditions team. So that is someone that is there every single day to ensure that our students get that credit on their diploma before graduating. And then this year we have 3 residents in the Summit Teacher Residency Program. So they're working with 3 teachers at our school. And hopefully we'll be able to hire some of them for next year to fill some of the vacancies that we have. In terms of enrollment, I just realized that it says demographic data from 2018. It is not from 2018. It is from this school year. But we are at 439 students. You can see the breakdown by grade level. One thing that I was excited about as I was looking through these presentations is each year we're actually getting closer to the district in terms of the different subgroup percentages that you see there. So I think that the free and reduced lunch percentage has been slowly moving up since I took over. I think it was 18% when I started in 2016. ELL and special education has also changed along those lines. So these are the 3 goals that we had at Summit Shasta for this year. The first goal was around attendance. I think that was a big priority for a lot of schools coming out of the pandemic. The second goal was really around how we're supporting skill development on site. And then the third goal was really about community and wanting to make sure we were a place where students felt like they belonged and it was an inclusive space. In terms of our current 9th grade, this is the class of 2026. There are 114 students in the 9th grade. 32 are siblings of current or former students. 100% of them live within the Jefferson Union High School District boundary. And then this year, I was really excited. I actually pulled the exact data so you can see the middle schools that they're coming from. The top 4 that you see there are ones that we had called out in our charter 5 years ago when we were making those adjustments in terms of how our lottery system works.
I'm going to ask you to slow down because we translate and the translator is asking that you slow down a little bit.
Sure. Do you want me to pause on the slide?
No, just speak more slowly.
Great. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
In terms of attendance, so this is a snapshot of what the attendance was at Shasta since 2017. This year, our year-to-date attendance is 93.9. So we're not quite at our target of 95%, but hoping to stay pretty high heading into the last few weeks of the year. Is that a better speed? Okay. This is a snapshot of our college data over the course of the last 6 years. So even though we have the evolved mission, college is still part of our program. It still is something that we provide a lot of support to our students on. Last year, our graduating seniors, 99% of them were accepted into a 4-year college or university. And then I have written down, this is for our current senior class. So this is for the class of 2023. We were really excited. We have 4 full scholarships, the Posse Scholars within this class. So that's 10% of all Posse Scholars in the Bay Area are coming from Summit Shasta, which is really incredible. We've had a lot of acceptances of the diversity of private colleges, UCs, and CSUs. And I got to celebrate all of that yesterday at National College Signing Day, which was, I'm sure other schools celebrated too. So this is, I would say, kind of one of the biggest shifts that we've had at our campus this year is around expeditions. In previous years, we kind of called it like a traveling circus. There was a team of teachers that would travel between various Summit School sites and teach courses on campus. And one of the big things we wanted to change is we actually wanted students to be more in the community off campus, having experiences. So if I was to compare to last year I think we had about 70 students off campus. This year we had 230. So that's like a pretty big change just in terms of developing those community partnerships. We did still have some students on campus, but by bringing on a visual performing arts teacher to our full-time faculty, it gave us a little bit more flexibility in what those experiences were. So we were less constrained by having like art or drama or things like that. It could offer a wider range of courses for students. The big work that happened here was with our Dean of Expeditions, really building out a lot of these partnerships. And it's something we're looking to continue heading into next year to see if we can even expand a little bit more to give students more opportunity in what they can do in our surrounding community. All right, the last thing that I wanted to just share updates on is since we did have testing data again last year after the pandemic, and I realized the key cutoff, although you can see it on the next slide. This is how Shasta has performed for the last 5 years on the SBAC for English and math. And then I included the data by subgroup, and this is all public data, just so that you could see this is from last year in 2022. Yeah, and I think that was all that I had to highlight. So I'll pause there and see if there's any questions I can answer.
Opening it up to the board for questions and comments.
Can you just elaborate on the expeditions and what that is exactly at your school? I don't really have.
Totally.
What that is.
I'm sorry, I should have started with that. Yeah. So expeditions it happens for 7 weeks total in the year. We totally pause our core academic classes. So students stop taking English, history, math. They don't even go to those classes anymore. And they're fully immersed in an expeditions experience. So this year it was 2 weeks in October, 2 weeks in January, 2 weeks in March. And then we have our final week actually is next week. During that time, the Shasta faculty is engaged in professional development. So they're not actually interacting with the students outside of the mentor time in the morning. And then students, a lot of times will come to school and then they immediately leave to go out into the community and do a variety of experiences. It ties into our vision and mission because we're all about students having a concrete next step. So we want them to have those experiences, try out new things so they can figure out what they're most interested in or what they're most passionate about.
So is there a curriculum we gotta follow out, and they just go out and figure it out?
Yeah, they're not necessarily credit bearing courses. So there's not like a set curriculum they follow. The students that are on campus, they're with the teacher in a classroom. There's lesson plans. There are things they're doing. But if you're doing an internship, at a health center, there's not a set curriculum. You're really shadowing someone or learning things. And then this last week coming up, they do a big reflective showcase on Thursday for the whole community. And we invite families to come see that too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming, Jason. We'll come back. Thank you. So first question is, everyone in California or lots of schools in California are now starting to provide lunch for students at no cost. Are you guys doing that as well?
Yes. Yeah. And I would estimate, I did the lunch line yesterday. We have almost 50% of our students are eating school lunches. I wrote down 205 names, so I can have very exact data for you.
And so I know you're tracking. Are you still able to track your students that are economically disadvantaged? Like now, if you're not having a problem doing that because of lunch. Because normally we get that with that data with who's getting reduced lunch. And
yeah,
everybody's getting lunch.
We have not had an issue with that. I think we had 100% of our families submit the forms last August. It is kind of our dean of operations. Yeah. That is like their full-time job in July and August. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, they spent it's like hours and hours tracking down families.
Okay.
I think the other thing that helps is we do a family goals meeting right at the beginning of the year. So anyone who hasn't submitted it on the spot, we're like, here's this form. Let us help you to make sure you submit it. So yeah, that actually hasn't impacted our numbers.
And then my other question is, thank you for looking into the diversity of your student body. And I know you're making progress. And so I would just, my goal is to try to get it closer to Jefferson Elementary, especially with the data here that most of your students are coming from the Daly City area.
Yeah.
So, for example, their ELL is close around 11 to 15%.
Yeah.
So, the free and reduced lunch, that's huge progress, but focusing on ELL.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I say that is, however you feel about charter school, my thing is, how do we get students who have come from generational wealth gap areas to college, right? And we're all working together to do that. But the makeup of your school and how you run your school works better for certain students. But I wanted to ensure that it's the actual students that have the greatest need and need it the most are taking advantage of what you have to offer. And how life-changing it can be for a student that comes from socioeconomically disadvantaged English language learner background to have someone in their family go to college. It changes everything. So having us all pull in that direction is one of my goals for board member. So thank you for the work and the ongoing work in that area. And then I think the last thing, so we all not to focus too much, or I'm trying to figure out the word for this because I hate the language that they've given us, which is like the learning loss, but can you just talk about, some of the programs that you've done? We all went through a collective trauma. So really it's like, how do you educate kids post trauma and what you've done in that area?
Yeah, I don't need to go back to the slide, but you're talking about the testing data. Yeah. First of all, thank you for calling out. I think it is, I remember the first time I came to present to the board and shared the demographic data, and it's something we've definitely been working on for the last 7 years, and it's really important to me that our school is representative of the community. So I appreciate the positive feedback and totally recognize there's still work to be done and making sure that it absolutely mirrors it. So I appreciate you calling that out. In terms of the testing data, I think our results last year, the exact percentages were 82%, I think, met or exceeded standard in English. And I think it was 46% in math, which is still significantly higher than the state, but was definitely a drop for our school. And I think kind of saw that across the board, looking at a variety of schools. We did a couple of things to try to address some of the learning loss. We used some of our COVID funding to offer a summer program coming out of the pandemic. So we offered that last summer. We're going to offer it again this summer. And there were two components to the summer program. One was supporting students in catching up or clearing incompletes or getting credit for courses that they had missed. But we also offer a summer bridge program to students that are coming in. And we're going to do that again this year for the class of 2027. With three main purposes. One is to build community, because a lot of them, as you can see, they come from 30 plus different middle schools. So build community. And then we do some practice with literacy and numeracy skills as well, to try to address some of the gaps that we see coming in. So I think that's one. The second thing we've done is we've redesigned our schedule slightly at the end of the day to have more focus time. It's called student support block, but for students to do interventions related to certain classes and in areas where they're struggling. And so teachers will have smaller groups of students at that time where they can identify who's struggling with this math skill. How can I do an intervention to support them with gaining this foundational knowledge? So I think that's something that has been helpful. And then the third thing, to be honest, is we've had just really candid conversations with faculty around knowing your students and assessing where they are and you might not be able to do the lesson that you've done 4 times before if students don't have the background. Like, you need to maybe change and do some strategy shift. And so we've had some conversations with faculty around doing a lot of pre-assessment, knowing your students, and then kind of going back and filling in some of the gaps that we know happened. I think to be honest, we're seeing it show up the most with math in high school, because students are coming in that have they didn't really get that algebra foundation that they need. And so I'll be interested to see how it impacts the test scores for the next few years. Just because I would say we're seeing the biggest impact in our math classes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And just in general, thank you to all of the work that you guys have all done. Thank you for all of the support you've given us, especially through everything with SVR. I mean, it's just been a great partnership and
Yeah, me too.
Any other comments from the board?
Thank you for the presentation. It's always good to see and see how things are evolving there. And I do have, she's like a daughter to me. She loves chess and she graduated. She's been accepted to so many universities. She hasn't decided.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for your presentation. Sounds like things are going well. I'm a parent in the Pacifica school district, and we've never met. I feel like I'm asking a hard question, but it's really just a curious question. Can you talk about how students are admitted to Shasta, and what about that process? To my observation, would only admit one student from the Pacifica school district this year.
Sure. Yeah. So our charter includes the specifics of how our lottery works, but I'm happy to go through what those are. In order to get admitted, students have to fill out an application, which is very short. It takes about 2 minutes. It's just like their name and address and birthday. We have a tiered lottery system. And so what that means is students are assigned a priority level and they apply to our school based on a couple of different criteria. The first criteria is students get priority if they are the sibling of a current or graduate of Summit Shasta that lives within the Jefferson Union High School District. So that's why when you looked at our data, it was 30 plus students are siblings coming in. So those are students that get priority. The second tier goes to students that live within the Jefferson Union High School District. So that's why 100% of our students come from within the district boundaries. Within that priority level, there's like a subcategory that we talked about and included the last time that our charter was approved for four, especially like 4 middle schools or 4 specific areas get priority within Jefferson Union High School District. And those are the 4 that you saw most represented in that chart. So it's the 4 middle schools that are closest to us, which are all within Daly City. So that's why we receive way more students from Daly City than Pacifica. Then kind of the last 2 tiers would be siblings from students that live outside the district. And then the last tier is, you don't have any priority. You don't live within the district. So that's kind of how our lottery system works. We have seen a shift just specifically about Pacifica over my time here. And I think that part of that is just we've seen a huge increase in the number of applications from Daly City. And so as those have gone up, the percentage of our student body from Pacifica has gone down. I don't know if that answers your question. I think I'm happy. Do you have a follow-up question?
Thank you.
No, of course.
I have a question. Hi, nice to see you. I want to echo Kalima's sentiment, by the way, about what a good partner you were last year when we were having some difficulties here on our campus, and you were really helpful, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your partnership. Great presentation. It sounds like things are going well, and you're kind of dealing with some of the same struggles that we're dealing with. My one question, the college data is super impressive, and I wonder if this is data around acceptance. So do you keep data on attendance and completion, and what does that look like? I mean, you probably don't have it all at your fingertips, but maybe you have an idea.
I have some, yeah. So we keep matriculation data. So how many of our students are actually enrolling in the 4 and 2 year colleges? It's around 80%, I would say, go to a 4-year college, and then 20% either do 2-year or a technical program or some other thing. In terms of graduation rates, I think we're going to get the first 6-year data this year, just because of when the school started. So I can give you the Summit Public Schools data, but I don't know if that's as compelling maybe to you, since it's for other schools throughout. Graduation rate from 4-year colleges across the organization is around 55 to 60%. Yeah.
I'm curious when you have that data.
Yeah,
That's
for sure.
Interesting. Yeah. But impressive list of schools and impressive acceptance rates. Yeah.
And thank you for your presentation.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then I'm just entering the questions and comments from my colleagues. So thank you again for being here, and look forward to your update next year.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Ryan, and congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, moving on, we will go to the Career Technical Education Update. Ms. Walker, want to do the intro?
Good evening, President Lee. Good evening, members of the board. Tonight, I am honored to present Ms. Shreve, who has been instrumental in getting our career technical education program really in an outstanding position from a few years back. And I also want to mention that we were just informed that the program is actually being honored for 10 awards in May, next week, or 2 weeks. So without further ado, I would like Ms. Shreve to talk about the programming.
Thank you, Ms. Baca. And before I get started, I'd like to thank the board for providing an opportunity tonight to highlight for students from each of our school sites and within the CTE programs. I've been on site so much lately due to we're creating CTE videos. And so I've been seeing the students in action and talking with them. And it just was such a privilege tonight to come and honor these 4 students and all the students in the CTE pathway. So thank you very much. So I did include this slide only because we do have 2 new board members, and I want to make sure that everyone has an understanding of what CTE is and what exactly constitutes a pathway. And then I'll go into where are we now? So how many pathways do we have? What does our data look like? And then do a review of the grant funding that we receive within CTE pathways, and then our future plans for, sorry, I do have a typo as well. I'm at the 22-23 school year, but I'm at the 23-24 school year. So what our future plans are. I went too fast. There we go. Okay. So, what is CTE in the 21st century? Career Technical Education, or CTE, because in education we love acronyms, provides students with the academic and technical skills, knowledge, and training necessary to succeed in future careers and to become lifelong learners. So, it is our vision and mission within CTE programs to not only prepare students for college, but or career. We want to provide them to be prepared for their next step after high school, whatever that may be. And a CTE pathway is a sequence of 2 or more CTE courses within an industry sector. So for example, in culinary arts, students start out in food and nutrition for their first year, and then their second year is culinary arts. So that constitutes a pathway. In order for a student to be considered a CTE capstone completer student, they need to complete both years in that program. Why should students participate in a CTE program pathway? The old school of thought used to be that CTE pathways were only for the students going into a trade or vocational ed program after high school, but that has changed. CTE pathways also prepare students for college. So they offer students the opportunity to explore a career field of interest as well as learn 21st century technical skills. We prepare our students for college and career, as I mentioned, by, and this section refers to the college and career indicator on the dashboard, and that's the chart on the right. Students are considered prepared if they meet one of the criteria on the top, along with an additional criteria. And when a student completes the CTE pathway with a C- or better, they've already achieved one of the areas on the top. And then our goal within our CTE pathways is to embed dual enrollment programs into that as well, so they can be prepared when they leave our program. And I'll get into the data and then in a future slide of how many of our programs already have that dual enrollment offered. So, and then also include other ways that aren't on the chart, but we feel are very important and integral to a CTE program and preparing students for college and career readiness is embedding work-based learning into our programs and industry and community college partnerships. That isn't on the college and career indicator, but there is an importance in both of those pieces as well to making sure students are prepared. So here is currently what we offer at Jefferson High School. We have a hospitality pathway, digital media, performing arts with a dance concentration, engineering. We do currently offer computer science, but that will be ending at the end of this school year and being replaced by a health science pathway. After many talks, we just felt that health science was needed in our pathways. It was a missing program, and we saw the need at Jefferson to bring it to that school. And then at Westmore High School, there's computer science, residential, commercial construction, which is going to be replacing our traditional wood shop next year as Pete McGurdy starts. And then we are currently working with NorCal Carpenters Union to have a formal agreement with them, so that way when students leave our pathway, they will have priority on the apprenticeship list. And we have fashion design and construction, manufacturing and automotive. And then in the fall, business will be coming back as Ben returns from his leave. And at Terra Nova High School, we have journalism, wood tech, performing arts, drama, stage tech, and automotive through dual enrollment. Oceana High School has a hospitality pathway, early childhood education through dual enrollment. And then Thornton High School, as of this year, now has residential and commercial construction as well. And I'm happy to say Ed is now a CTE credentialed teacher, so now it counts as both dual enrollment and CTE. And then just to give you a few data points, this year through our grant funding, we were able to bring Ann Carew on as a CTE counselor on special assignment, and she has helped greatly with bringing on a lot of field trips and guest speakers, and the college and career fair is the main part of her job. And so with that, we were able to have one district-wide college and career fair. The college and career aides at 3 of our school sites had a career fair. During the school day, we had 3 lunchtime career tables, 20 pathway field trips, 23 pathway guest speakers, 5 industry panels. So that was when industry professionals either came into a classroom or had a designated time after school or during lunch. 5 mentorship meetings, 14 skill workshops. The skill workshops were on job interviewing, soft skills, resume building, and then one work-based learning, and that was our partnership with KQED. And then some of our big highlight events were the Path to Success event with Jefferson Elementary School District and Skyline. 200 8th graders attended. The Next Step events with our capstone students and Skyline. 120 of our CTE completer capstone students attended that. Our capstone showcase. Do I need to talk about it?
You do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry. I
That's okay.
I was like going to catch myself when you told the brother one.
Thank you.
And then, so our capstone showcases when our CTE students are able to present their portfolios. Many of you attended that event at the different high schools, and it really gives our students the opportunity to demonstrate their skills in global citizenship, leadership, communication, problem solving, and then their industry ready skills and through their portfolio. And I'm really happy it was something that the CTE staff worked on throughout COVID. It was our project that we did as a team, and then we implemented it for the first time last year, and this was our second year, and it really provides students an opportunity to showcase all they've accomplished in those 2 years. And then the last event that we had was last week, where we had a trades informational night that Andrew organized, and it was hosted here at the district office, and it was a great success. So getting into the data. You've seen the data. I like to include, this is how many years I've been in this position. So just to look and see where we're at. I'm not going to go through every number, but just to highlight, we've increased our pathway offerings. Sometimes those have been a matter of something going away and something coming in or adding, but we're currently at 19 pathways across the district. And some of those are duplicates. Like we have a hospitality program at both Oceana and Jefferson. We have all of our courses offered. 32 courses are A through G. Just to give you some background on that, there's only 3 courses that are not A through G, which up at Terra Nova and automotive at Westmore. So 4 courses, I guess, if you can consider the intro and the capstone. Our dual enrollment, 29 sections of the 63 are dual enrolled. So those 29 sections, when students leave, if they've taken both years of the pathway, they are considered prepare on the California dashboard. We have significantly increased the number of students who complete a pathway from when I first started 4 years ago. We were at 110 students. Now we're at 301 students completing a pathway. I don't have the data available yet because we haven't finished the year of our special populations, but our goal in CTE is to mimic our district data in these areas. We're not quite there, but we are showing improvement. We have been doing some things as a team to improve how we can do outreach to our students in special populations and make sure that we're meeting their learning needs in the classroom. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more on another slide. So much of our funding for CTE comes from CTE grants. We have 3 different funding sources. We have the CTE incentive grant, and that's from the state of California. Our award for the next school year is $422,000 roughly. We have our Perkins grant, which is the federal grant that we received next year that has increased slightly. We're at $109,000 for the 23-24 school year. We have our strong workforce grants that are a consortium within San Mateo County. Round 2 closed in December of this year. Round 3 will be closing at the end of this school year. Round 4 we will have until the end of the 23-24 school year. And then our Jefferson Union High School District strong workforce grants, 1 closed, the engineering grant closed in December of this past year. And then round 3, which was our middle school grant, closes at the end of June of this school year. We have applied for CCAP grants. So those are with our community colleges, 1 for each school site. They're $100,000 each. So to gain some other money, which will help us with dual enrollment. And then we've also applied for a middle college grant with the community college as well. And that's for $250,000 over 4 years. We will not know if we were awarded those grants until June. So So to break down where does the money go from all these grants? How do we use it? So Perkins is, as I mentioned, our federal grant. The Perkins grant helps with after school enrichment programs such as Girls Who Code, the Grizzly News, the Skills USA, CTSO that we have. So it helps with all those after school enrichment programs. It also this year money was used to upgrade the Terra Nova drama room with lighting and sound. So half of the grant, of the Perkins grant, was spent on upgrades to the Terra Nova drama room this year. And then it also is used for industry certifications, such as Serve Safe Handler certificate, and then also professional development for our CTE staff. And this is where, as I mentioned, we spend a lot of our time looking at how can we improve what we're doing in the classroom, especially in our first year classes, to make sure that we are meeting the needs of not just all of our students, but our special populations, because within Jefferson Union High School District, CTE is required for 1 year for graduation requirement. So we know those students are enrolling in our first year, but why aren't they going on to complete their second year? And how can we make sure that they're getting the same benefits that work-based learning that typically happens in our second year programs, the dual enrollment that happens in our second year programs. And so we really take a look at our curriculum. Are we making sure that our students are getting the supports that are needed to make them successful? And then the CTIG grant covers a lot of our field trips and guest speakers. Anne was going to present this slide tonight, but she was unable to make it. But she wrote something for me to say about all of the wonderful field trips and guest speaker experiences that our CTE students have had this year. So this is a little something that she wrote. With CTE, students got to see boats, goats, and honeybee. They crushed apples and made a meal and walked on piers and saw a seal. They saw computers throughout the years and checked out assorted careers, flight simulation and critiqued dim sum, and even got to play a drum. There was dancing plays in college where students gained lots of knowledge. Exploratorium, Green Glove Tour, and Channel 2 toured NorCal carpenters and used a hammer and a screw. Dancers, mechanics, designers as guests contributed to our CTE students' career quest. CTE is an asset for all, and we look forward to the upcoming fall. So
She's quite a poet.
Yes. I can't thank Anne enough for all of the hard work that she has put into this year in planning and organizing field trips and guest speakers and skills workshops for our students. It does not go without recognition, all the work that she did this year in making sure that our students had this hands-on experience of going into industry such as Channel 2, going to a pie ranch and getting that hands-on experience of farm to table, and NorCal carpenters, as she mentioned in her poem. We are fortunate enough to have the funds through CTIG that allow us to provide transportation to all of these field trips and have stipends for guest speakers to come into our classroom. So, and then the other thing that CTIG funds is CTE capstone sections at each of our schools, and then also a portion of my salary and a portion of Anne's salary. And then the Strong Workforce Grant. This is round 2 that closed. This grant closed as of December 31st of 2022. But through the funds, we were able to have our next step events over the last 3 years We have already planned for it to keep going in the 23-24 school year. So even though this grant closed, it will still be happening. Same with the college and career fair. We are able to have a district-wide college and career fair. The funds from this grant help support that work. But there is talk at the County Office of Ed to write another grant to continue this work. But we here at Jefferson Union have already put some things in place to continue it. Of course, it would be great to have more funds. But we wanted to make sure when this grant closed that we were prepared to keep both the Next Step events and the college and career fair a reality in our district. So we do have plans to continue it. And helped and did organize the college and career fair at Ceremony. We were able to bring it back after a hiatus through COVID. And it was hosted on October 27th. We named it Discover Your Future, and over 300 students and over 80 guests from colleges, trades, local employers, and Jefferson Union High School Board and Adult Ed all had tables at the event. And then our engineering grant allowed us to really build our engineering pathway. When we first applied for this grant, I think Joel had 2 sections, maybe 3. And yes, block scheduling helped with the increase, but really if he hadn't had the numbers, he would be teaching in the science area. So this grant allowed us, now we have 8 sections of engineering on the Jefferson campus, 2 of them being a capstone class. And not only did it help us build the sections, but we upgraded all of the industry equipment in that room. We upgraded the electrical so that it met the needs of an engineering program. Same with the floor in that room, because the equipment creates a lot of dust, which a normal floor you can't clean properly. So we resurfaced the floor in that room. And if you haven't been by there, I recommend to go by that room. It was the old auto shop, and now it is truly an engineering space. And then our Strong Workforce Round 3, which is ending in June, is about increasing equity and access and dual enrollment. So as I mentioned, we have been doing a lot of work in this area. We have a 4-day training coming up, 2 days next week, and then another 2 days in the fall where we will be diving deep into the data portion. We had 1 training in fall of 22, and it's continuing this series of equity, inclusion, and belonging. And we're working with Hatching Results company to provide this training to us. And this is with all of San Mateo County Office of Ed. So it's not just Jefferson Union High School District that attends this series. It's all the high schools districts in San Mateo County. And then our round 3, our middle school, college, and career awareness exploration. I'm very sad that this grant is ending because it has been so successful. We have had Past to Success events with our partnership with Skyline College, where each year we brought 200 8th graders up to Skyline College. They've gone to workshops that are facilitated by our CTE teachers. So they get a hands-on workshop of what they'll experience with our CTE classrooms at the high school level. We have also been able through this grant to have a summer program. So the image of the student looking in the microscope is a field trip up to Skyline during the summer. We sponsored a summer program with Pacifica District and Jefferson Elementary School District. Jefferson Elementary did a 2-week summer program. Pacifica did a 5-week program last year. This year, both districts will be doing another 2-week summer program, thanks in part to this grant. We also have been able to create marketing material through this grant to help increase awareness and enrollment in our CTE pathways. So we've created brochures and also videos that will be coming to you soon in June. I've seen some previews. They're pretty amazing videos. I'm very excited about them coming out. And then our round 4 consortium grant with San Mateo County is radically re-imaging pathways to opportunities for historically marginalized communities in San Mateo County grant. This grant provides students internships within San Mateo County during the summer. It just started last summer, and we had many students participate in it last summer, and we're hoping our goal is to have, last year we had 23 students participate in the internships. That's how many spots we were given. The hope is this year that we will have double that spots available. It is the San Mateo County Office of Ed determines how many internships are allotted to each district. And then our goals, as I said, this is for the 23-24 school year, is to strengthen pathways to include more work-based learning opportunities like the KQED partnership and industry certifications. Currently, the San Mateo County Office of Ed Consortium is working together to create a San Mateo County-wide work readiness certificate that every high school CTE pathway across the county would use in their capstone classes to increase internships. This is work that we're doing in that round 4, and then increase dual enrollment within all of our CTE pathways. The biggest challenge we have with bringing dual enrollment into our programs is either making or getting our CTE teachers so they meet the minimum qualifications to be a dual enrollment instructor, or if they aren't able to meet them, is finding a co-teacher on the community college level that can come and co-teach with our instructor. And then just continuing our outreach to our middle schools. And one idea is to have very specific middle school field trips during the school year to our pathway. I don't know why I didn't include this, but we did have a very successful day and that's where this idea came from. We brought 4th graders from Tobias up to the Oceana Hospitality Program, and it was adorable to see, and it was a great event for all. Our past board member, Carla Ann Garrett, her daughter happened to be in the class. We didn't realize the connection until then, and the students had a great time. And when that happened, Lori and I looked at each other and said, we need to make this happen all the time. So it's definitely something we are looking towards in the future. And then lastly, none of this would be possible without the team that we have. And so I want to make sure to recognize everyone on the CTE team, all of the teachers, the CTE counselors, college and career aides, Jean, she is constantly helping me, and also Natalie Palma and the bus garage team. We have had a lot of transportation requests this year, and she has met every single one of them, and some of them have been last minute. Something comes up and comes to our attention, and we don't want students to miss out on the opportunity. And so I just really like to give her and her team a shout out for all of their dedication and hard work in making sure our students had the transportation to get where they needed. And also to thank Kareem Baca for her guidance. Always, I couldn't do this job without it. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to do this job. I love my job, and I love making a difference. And I love being in the classroom, and I didn't think I ever wanted to be out of it. And I still miss being in the classroom, but this job gives me the opportunity to see how programs like this can make a difference in students' lives. So thank you. Wow. Sorry, I was really long, and I apologize. There's just so much information.
No, it's fantastic info. So who wants to kick it off?
I did.
All right.
Thank you. Big as I can make that. Thank you. Congratulations. And I just want to note that I continue to learn that none of this happens by accident. somebody has to plan it all. Somebody has to commit to getting it done. I think I said something like this after we went to San Diego, and I keep hearing all these questions about, well, how did you do housing? We did a presentation on it. We're like, how do I do this and how do I do that? And I said, I don't think that anyone knows how hard it's going to be. And it happens because somebody makes a commitment and builds a team, kind of pull it all together. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
It's a lot. I'm still new to this.
Yeah.
Every time I come to one of these meetings, I'm just, kind of taken aback by everything that's happening in the district. So, I have a lot of studying to do to kind of figure out what a lot of this stuff is, and talk to my colleagues here and maybe reach out to you guys and
Definitely.
kind of educate myself a little bit more on this. It's really cool stuff. It's a lot to kind of take.
Yes.
And there's a lot that I don't understand. So, I mean, it's, I'm kind of listening and absorbing, but a lot of questions that are just not necessary for this platform. But
Please reach out.
For
I
sure.
would love to sit and have a conversation and give you a better understanding of what's happening.
yeah, no, that'd be great. Yeah, just to kind of get a better idea of what it is. I mean, I see it, but
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm always blown away by, but just seeing the data, how we went from 110 to 301, just the growth, and Mr. Walker's correct. It doesn't happen by accident. I think there was something that you said that really resonated with me, and that's that you don't want students to miss out on an opportunity. And I think this encapsulates that, because we're looking for opportunity, and to have, gosh, just this past year, all the field trips, I mean, just so much going on, and all of the opportunity. It's fantastic. And I also, really amazed. I really like how we put an emphasis on dual enrollment, and professional development is so important. We put importance on that, because, and I like how you said that, this is how we find out how best to serve our students, and those special populations that you mentioned. All of it is, ties in together so well, but it's so much work, and applying for grants is not easy. I tried it once. It's hard. It's really hard. And this is a labor of love for this entire CTE team. And we deserve a Kent Award. I mean, easily. Yeah, this is incredible. This is incredible work that we've been able to do and pull together. And you were my son's favorite teacher. Don't tell anyone else it was. Thank you. And when you mentioned Marjorie Tobias, that's where my kids went to school, and they have a very robust gardening program there. So I could see how they would really it's in their DNA now. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a very special day for me, because I didn't say this part. It was my daughter's actually student teaching for that class, and so she brought her fourth graders up, and that's how it came about. And she was actually Lori's student, and so it was just nice to have it come full circle. And yeah,
thank you again. To echo what everyone else said, thank you. And to the whole team and all the teachers and staff and everyone that's involved, thank you. The growth is incredible. And I know we've talked about this a lot. And one of the things that always stuck with me is that we campaigned on this, like we talked about. We always use career tech and CTE programs. And so it's now nice to see that it is reflecting, that we can talk about and show. Not that we're just offering courses, but the breadth and depth of the courses that we're offering across the entire district. It's not localized in one or two schools.
It's across the entire district. So yeah, it's an incredible accomplishment in just a very short amount of time with everything that was going on inside and outside of the district, both as an organization and with folks personally. I know it's just been an incredible time.
Thank you.
And then I know anytime you have something grow that fast, it's hard to then focus the attention on the equity. And so now that it's established, looking at how that we can balance out some of the gaps equity wise, to me is the next, what I hope would be the next goal. But you have to get everything up and running first, right? And then normally when you have a new program, it's not those that are in the marginalized groups are going to be the first to try out something, right? You kind of have to have the ask to help educate the families and community and really help show that benefit. So I'm looking forward to what we do next, and also seeing if we can get breakdown of this by subgroup that's outside of just the ones that are here, but also race and gender.
I have that.
Yeah, thank you. I knew you would. The other question I had was more along, like, I know we're partnering with a lot of our unions, and so I'm wondering how much. I mean, are we having a conversation with the labor council here in San Mateo County, or have we talked to them at all?
No, we've been mainly working through just the county office of ed connecting us, and then also our own connections to the union. So NorCal Carpenters Union connected us with San Mateo County Carpenters Union, and then same with the electrical union. I had some connections that are just personal, and so yeah. And then we're working with TIP.
Oh, with TIP, okay.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I was saying. So, and there's other programs outside of TIP, but I think I can give you Julie Lynn's contact information.
Okay.
I think it would be great. I mean, that's one of the things that she's been advocating for a lot. I think she's unaware of what we're doing.
Yeah, I would love to connect with her.
Thank you. And then the other question, or the other comment question, was also about the switching focus to health sciences. But I think it's great, just because, not being biased because it's the industry I'm in, but it's just, this is the hub of life science.
It is. And we've been wanting to bring that program to our schools for a long time. As Corinne said, that it was her mission. And one of the biggest challenge was finding a credentialed teacher, and we found one. So yes, it was actually Jasmine, who is the college and career teacher at Westmore, that came on in the spring. Her industry experience, the industry she came from, was the health industry, and so we approached her and had a conversation, and she was very interested. So it's very hard to find someone, just like in computer science or many of the industries that are in CT. People in the industry, their salary is a lot more than a teaching salary. And so to come over and be a teacher, they're taking a cut in pay. And so we are very fortunate that we found Jasmine, or she found us.
Fantastic. So yeah, I'm really excited because I know while tech kind of rotates and they have the bubble burst,
right.
Life science is not like that. It's a really steady income and industry where they don't really have the drastic layoffs and stuff that we're seeing in this time. And then again, it's housed here, and there's a constant need for staff. Constant. So I'm very excited that we're looking into that space, and any other helper connections that I can do.
Yeah. Definitely.
And then just wrapping up with my overall just congratulations to everybody. I'm just I'm really kind of speechless, floored how much work. I knew about some of the programs, but I wasn't aware of just how many. And this year was the year that I went, like how many are capstone, how many have the dual enrollment, and then the dual enrollment on top of the A to G. Like that's just phenomenal. So thank you.
Yeah, incredible work. I'm just like echoing my colleagues. I'm just very excited about the work we've got to see the growth over year. Just a couple of quick questions. I think you kind of alluded to it in your response just now, but when it comes to determining the types of programs you operate at each campus, it really is about who's interested in teaching that particular program.
And if they qualify for a CTE credential, because in order to be able to use grant funding for that program, the teacher has to have a CTE credential. And in order to obtain a CTE credential, you have to have industry experience.
Okay. And with regards to woodshop and auto,
Yeah.
with regards to, is there a plan to move them towards an A through G, or what, or where is this sticking point?
So the automotive program, it isn't A through G. Those are both, they're not A through G because of the way the course of study is laid out. But the automotive program, even though it's not A through G, it is dual enrolled with Skyline College, so students are earning college credit in that.
That's great. Yeah. That's good. Just again, it's incredible work, and I'm just really so pleased and so excited to see what we're doing. And lastly, with regard, I'm very excited about the Carpenters connection with the residential and commercial construction. What other industry sort of connections are being made for those capstone completers right in the other industries?
In digital arts, we have the KQED that you take over. In the engineering program, we are building relationships with the electrical construction union. And then culinary arts is actually the hardest. You wouldn't think it would be, but I think it's because the restaurant industry works so long hours and is very demanding that it's really hard to have that partnership in that industry. And then I'm going through them. In fashion design, we do have a connection, an industry partner who, she's a small business, but she creates her own patterns, so pattern making. And then we're actually meeting with Kenyatta College to dual enroll that program in the spring of 2024. Yeah. And then computer science, we have a lot of industry partners in that area. They're not formal agreements, but they're industry partners, and that they come and provide panel discussions and mentors. And so the formal agreements are more with KQED and NorCal, but each pathway does have an industry partner that comes in as a guest speaker or provides a panel pathway discussion for students.
I think that's really exciting.
Yeah.
That's what you want to add.
Thank you. I really just want to highlight everything has been said, but I want to say again that people matter. This didn't just happen. I think money matters. There's a lot of money, a lot of money that has been out there that is over and above what our normal money is. And that really matters. And people matter. You've written and participated in grants. You conceptualized all of this. You, Kareen, and Karu. I mean, honestly, I'm so very proud. The money could have been there and you could have just not done the right things with it. So I really just want to thank you, because this really shows the dedication and hard work focused on this program and helping our students to succeed. So just thank you.
Thank you. But like I said earlier, it really is about the team.
Agreed. Yeah, I called out a couple leaders, but I mean, it is everybody. But
when I sent an earlier email to the team about the Kent Award, it really starts in the classroom and the dedication of the CTE teachers, because when you're a CTE teacher, it doesn't stop in the classroom. You also have to bring in industry partners and these events, and there's a lot more involved, and a lot of extra hours with after school enrichment and all of that. And I just, the dedication and the hard work of the CTE team, none of this could have happened without them.
Well, thank you so much. Congratulations again.
Thank you very much. Oh, and there was I left a bag on all of your chairs that had just a little something from kind of each event that we had over the course of the year, so you can see the different things that happened.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You got a swag bag even.
Aw.
I like it.
Right back to the board.
All right. Moving on now to, let's see, 14C1, Board Policy Update, BP 3100 Budget. Ms. Van Rapport.
Thank you, President Lee. Good evening, trustees. Before you tonight for your consideration is a revision to Board Policy 3100. The only changes in this are just kind of clearer language from CSBA. If you don't have any comments or recommend any changes to this, it will come back for approval at the next board meeting on the consent agenda.
Comments or questions on this item? All right, we'll move on to item 2, Board Policy Update, BP 3100.1, Reserve for Economic Uncertainty.
Thank you again. So for this item, it is not required. This board policy is not based on requirements from Ed Code. It is just best practice for a district to have a reserve policy, but it can be written however we decide to write it. I put together a draft board policy that I think meets the needs of our district well. And before you talk about it, I'd like to just walk through it a little bit. So what this shows is that, as you know, we always are considering our current fiscal year plus the subsequent 2 years. So I just kind of put that as year 1, 2, and 3 for clarity in the board policy. And then I suggest that we have 4 different types of reserves. One is the statutory reserve, and this is required by Ed Code, that we have 3% of our expenditures as our statutory reserve or our reserve for economic uncertainties. That's kind of not negotiable. The next one is what would be new for us, which is a strategic reserve. So within the general fund, in our regular first interim, second interim budget reports, we would set aside 5% in a strategic reserve. It would sit in the ending fund balance under assigned, under the assigned section, and it would be listed as strategic reserve. And what I recommend is that we have 5% in year 1, 3% in year 2, and 1% in year 3. Then the unassigned and unappropriated reserve, this is just kind of what falls to the bottom at the end. So this, I do not have a recommended level. This would just be whatever's left. And then the special reserve is in a completely different fund. So this would be money that the board would vote to move to Fund 17. And then if we ever needed to access it, you would have to vote to bring it back to Fund 1 before we could actually spend it. So right now, we currently have about 1% in this special reserve. And I'm recommending that the board work to gradually build that up to 2% over time. So then, in total, we would have, if we got all of those situated in year 1, we would have a total reserve of 10% or higher, 8% in year 2, and 6% in year 3. And I think that would be a safe reserve for a district our size with our basic aid status. And it would take some time for us to build up the additional reserves, especially in the special reserve.
because like I said, we have about 1%. Our current expenditures are about $87 million per year, which means 1% is about 870,000. We currently have 840,000 in Fund 17, so it would take some time for us to add around 900,000 to that reserve.
Any questions or comments? Okay, well, thank
All
you
right,
very
so
much.
similar to the other policies, then this will come back on consent at the next board meeting.
Great, thank you. Okay, moving on. Item 15A1, job description, registered behavior technician, Ms. Lujan.
Good evening, everyone. Last year, we approved, or you all approved, thanks for your support, the board certified behavior analyst. That person has been very successful, and the need for this person has expanded, and we thought that it would be beneficial if we brought on some support. So before you this evening is a job description for a registered behavior technician, and their role would really be to provide support to the BCBA. And I welcome any questions you may have.
Any questions or comments? All right, well, thank you very much, Ms. Lujan. We do need to make a motion to approve. All those in favor? Aye. Okay. All right. 15B1, Resolution 2022-2023/17, Maintenance Assessment District, Intent to Continue Assessments and Engineers Report Approval. Ms. Van Raaphorst.
Thank you again, President Lee. The Maintenance Assessment District generates over $300,000 each year for our school district, and each year the board must follow a 3-step process to keep it going. The first step was action took by the board in February to direct the preparation of the engineer's report. Tonight is the second step, where the board approves the engineer's report and sets a date for the third step, which will be a public hearing on June 6th. So with that, I would like to recommend that you approve Resolution 2022-2023/17 that is before you tonight.
No motion.
Yeah, before I make one thing, I just, struggled. I mean, I worked on something to read through it because it was very important. I'm glad that we're finally getting this updated, just because, in reading the Friday report and stuff, like the increased need for access to our buildings and, and even in discussions with the city about our property, it's not, people see it as theirs, and so if that's gonna be the view, then we need help in it. So I'm glad that we're getting this assessment done. I was excited. I know there's a whole issue about how the levels and we can increase it, but it's good to see that within what we can do, that it's within the work. So thank you for doing the work, and I move that we approve resolution.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay. Item 15B2, Bond Oversight Committee appointment. Ms. Van Raaphorst again.
Thank you. I'm pleased tonight to recommend an 8th community member to join our Bond Oversight Committee. Ms. Janelle Jones of Pacifica has volunteered to participate. And while only 7 members are required, I think having an additional member would be prudent for ensuring this committee is able to continue.
Okay. Your motion to approve if no questions or comments. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you. And then item 15B3, Resolution 2022-2023/16, Joint Powers Authority membership in school project or utility rate reduction, SPUR.
Thank you. So for my last items tonight, I would like to recommend that we approve participation in SPUR. This is a collective that takes the purchasing power of more than 300 California public agencies and helps us get better deals on energy conservation, telecommunications, and networking tools. There's no requirement for us to actually use any of their purchasing contracts if there is no cost to join the JPA, but it just gives us an option when we're looking to purchase these items. So I would like to recommend the approval of this resolution.
If no questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve resolution.
All those in favor? Aye. Great, thank you very much. Is there, so item 16, consideration of future agenda items. Anything to add?
I have one. Can we add the student trustees, just have a discussion about the policy that we have and maybe updating a little bit? One of the things that came out of the presentation tonight was to maybe see if we can figure, like, first of all, publicizing who they are and making, getting that out into the district as a whole, who the student trustees are. And then the other thing that just came to mind is building that bridge of communication between them and the principals and on-site. So, but there's other things, and I'm wondering if we could put it in the policy. So, or just what student trustees are supposed to do and what they should and shouldn't have access to.
Good idea.
Yes, so create a policy regarding student trustees.
I think we have one, but just bringing it out and making some updates to it.
Sure.
Right. Anything else? Then tonight I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned at 9:17 p.m. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.